Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Live. Yeah, we are live. From a pile of DEI-stained bow ties. Matt, you do not want to get your bow ties anywhere near that DEI stain.
Does it come out with shout?
Comes out with nothing. It comes out with legal action and anger.
Oh,
It's an all-new, terrific Tuesday edition of Business Pants, joined by analyst whole Matt Moscardi. Wow. Matt Moscardi. Wow. Woo. Whoa.
Yeah, everybody says wow when they hear me.
On today's emergency meeting of ESG cheerleaders who are forbidden from chanting ESG at carbon-free volleyball games called February 25th, 2025, the Who Do You Blame game. We're bringing it back. The Who Do You Blame game.
The big question is, who do I blame for that last today's meeting thing?
This game, Matt, is the fastest rising game show in the ESG DEI stained space. Bigger than any game shows being trotted out by Stainalytics, Glass Lewis, Fruit Consulting, any of them.
Yeah, it's true.
Our show today is being sponsored by freeflowanalytics.com, the only platform measuring board power connections and performance for free. Now, there's two ways you can read that. A, it's the only platform measuring board power connections and performance for free, which is amazing. But it's also, Matt, it's the only platform measuring board power connections and performance. End of sentence.
Yeah, at all. Right. Yeah, at all.
So, you decide which part of that is most enticing, the free part or the fact that we actually have analytics about something.
Free or only, both feel good. All right, let's blame some people. Do we need some blame? I don't have blame music.
Find it.
So let's blame some people. We'll do this. Okay.
All right. Get rid of that. Come on, kill it.
Yeah.
Killing me.
No, I'm not killing it. I love it. All right, let's blame.
All right,
some
I'm going
people.
first. I'm going to go first. Here's the headline. So all these are we find headlines over the past 2 days, really, and we put it into our Who Do You Blame game machine, and they spit out possible targets to blame for these actions, for these corporate actions. Here we go. First headline: Idaho. None of this is all real, all of it. Sadly, Idaho construction CEO resigns after apparent Nazi salute at company event.
Ooh.
Well, before I even get started, Matt, if you're resigning for a Nazi salute and you're a CEO, there should be some journalistic law that name has to be put in the headline to shame that person.
I would agree with that. That seems like basic editorial, right?
Because his name is Tom Hill. Let's call him his name, Tom Hill. Also, is it weird that it's like sort of good news to me that in 2025 that someone who's doing a Nazi salute is actually resigning for something? Like, I feel a little okay about that because when the president of the United States, Elon Musk, does it, he doesn't resign. But let's get to that later. So, Matt, who do you blame? This is not a publicly traded company, so it's a little bit different, and we don't have them in our database. So bear with me. Who do you blame? The guy himself, the former CEO Tom Hill.
Sounds like a good option.
Right? And unfortunately, a co-owner of the company, and I read 500 articles and 25 press releases, and I don't know that he's giving up his co-ownership. He's probably going to make a lot of money through this company.
Well,
He's still going to get paid.
What's the point of resigning if you still own it?
I don't know. So that's the first one. The second one, how about the bro-only executive leadership culture at this company? The company, by the way, is named as ESI Construction. I should have said that, ESI Construction. They're a pretty sizable company there in Idaho. The bro-only culture, I'm not going to give you all the names, but it's led by men. It's, CFO Kevin Smith. It's the other co-owner and now the new CEO, Neil Nelson. There's Ben Belt. He's the VP of operations. Blah, 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 blah. That's the second choice to blame, the bro-only NEO culture. And I have a reason for saying this based on the next thing to blame is, how about could you blame the fact that they did not have a chief people's officer until yesterday, Matt?
Ooh.
When, I know you're going to be shocked by this, when a woman named Dallas Fontenot was promoted to a newly created role for Chief People's Officer. And the quote from the new CEO is, "With Dallas's leadership, I am confident we will emerge a more compassionate company." See,
wow. Yeah, let the women clean it up, baby.
You see how easy? So, I mean, it does make you think maybe we don't need to get rid of DEI if women help prevent these absolutely catastrophic events.
You are absolutely reading this backwards. What you should be saying is that we're all allowed to do Nazi salutes if we just put a woman on afterwards.
Or if nobody notices.
That's what you mean.
The fourth thing to blame, it also could be the fact that the fact that the company did not have a corporate responsibility task force, because that's the other thing they added, Matt. They added a woman, and they added a corporate responsibility task force with a particular focus on fostering respect across all levels of our organization. Okay.
So can we just weigh in on task forces?
Yeah, go ahead.
How often does a task force do a thing that matters?
Yeah.
Ever?
I wish I had more information. I couldn't find the members of the task force. I couldn't find how often they're going to meet. Nothing.
I mean, it's not a public company, so I'm not surprised there's nothing on it. But
would have been nice. Would have been fun for me. How about this, Matt? Can we blame the fact that when you look online to research this company, that nobody knows if this company is called ESI Construction or Engineered Structures, Inc.? They keep referring to both of those names at the same time. It bothers me. It angers me.
Who am I blaming for that?
Well, it's one of the options. It's one of the options.
Okay.
Another option to blame is this weird subtext or sub fact or whatever it is, and I'm calling it the Trump versus Trump. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, Trump versus Trump, because one of you'll see later that the former CEO to the Nazi salute said he was actually just mimicking President Donald Trump. But here's the weird thing, is that in the press release announcing the new woman to clean things up and the task force was also a statement from the Boise State University president, right? Because ESI is one of the largest donors to an upcoming ESI construction management building on campus. But her name, the Boise State University president's name, is Dr. Marlene Trump.
Ooh.
And she has a PhD in English. So you see, it's this Trump, you know what I mean? It's confusing, Matt. Do you think that's the blame for all this? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Okay.
I know what you're trying to say. No.
I had to wedge that one in. I thought that was
really
humorous to me.
The Trump thing.
Yeah, like, what is going on? Yeah. Did AI write this story? And finally, Matt, the last person we could blame for this, for the Idaho construction CEO Tom Hill resigning after doing a Nazi salute at a company event of all places, is how about Elon Musk?
And
here's my reason. Here's my reason. In his initial statement before he apologized, when he still had his job, Tom Hill called his action, quote, his attempt at humor and parody, and claimed he was mimicking President Trump and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk's signature dancing.
Okay, so
despite the fact that these other headlines, Matt, that talking about Elon Musk's Nazi salute and Elon Musk's support for Germany's neo-Nazi party. Okay, yeah, go ahead. There's a lot here. I apologize.
Can you summarize? Because there was like 33 things to blame.
This is why this is the America's favorite rising ESG game show, because there's a lot to consider here. To summarize, are we going to blame the man himself? Are we going to blame the bro culture? Are we going to blame the fact that they didn't have a woman to clean it up? Are we going to blame Elon Musk? Who are we going to blame?
This is a
lot there for you.
A lot there. And the funny thing
all of it credible, by the way.
My instinct is to blame someone and something else entirely.
Really, I gave you.
You gave me 23 options,
choices, and you're finding something else.
So I watched the video.
Okay. Sorry.
And he did, in fact, do the Trump dance.
I don't know what that means, but I don't want to know what that means.
You know that thing where he's like jerky thing?
Yeah, I don't care.
Football players were doing it for a while. They thought it was funny.
Still don't care.
And then immediately parlayed it into Elon Musk's exact double tap Nazi salute thing.
Great. Wonderful.
Well, here's the problem.
Yeah.
Elon Musk and Trump, the results of that were effectively they were both elected or unelected to run this country, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
they
Musk,
do that.
Musk did that Nazi salute during the inauguration, right? He was already elected president at
and
that
he
point.
got fired from Doge from it, right?
Yeah,
Or
well,
wait,
how dare
no,
you.
he basically
How dare you.
runs that as he sees fit, and he has no accountability.
Yeah.
So if you're an Idaho construction CEO, does somewhere in your brain you just think exactly what Zuckerberg said? Zuckerberg said the following when he decided he's going to get rid of fact checkers and like imbue his company with more masculine energy,
which is,
get back to their roots. He said that effectively that they've been out of touch with mainstream discourse, and that the world has changed. You know, this
Where are you
election
going here?
shifts a dramatic.
Where are you going? Are you
where I'm
blaming
going
woke
is,
culture for his resigning?
If you're CEO Tom Hill, you think the world has changed. This is okay because those guys are doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why Elon Musk was on my list.
Except you can't blame Musk for it so much as like, isn't it like a sign of something else? Like,
Except
this has
people
been
are
normalized.
people
It's been
are
normalized.
people are blaming Elon Musk for normalizing this type of neo-Nazi love. They are blaming him for that.
I don't disagree. And also, the board allows him to stay there. And also, he doesn't
Everybody
get
allows him to
fired.
stay there.
Everybody
Yeah.
puts up with him because he's got money.
Yeah.
Except the CEO of ESI, the construction firm in
ESI.
Idaho, is
Yeah.
not the world's richest man. Can't
Where
do
are we
Nazi
going
salutes.
with this? All right, give me a blame. Blame someone.
All right, I'm going to blame the Nazi saluter. I think everybody should take
okay, all
responsibility
that for just that?
for their own
Yeah.
stupid behavior.
Yeah. I wonder if this case is going to be reversed because the female president of Boise State University was one of the people who was upset. I wonder if
I think if
maybe
Trump
Musk will step in.
reverses it, then Trump, you make it your Trump.
Well, maybe
battle.
we could do a Twitter poll and we can reverse this. Musk can ask his Nazi fans if they think that he should get his job back.
If they
All
think
right,
Trump should keep going or Trump
right.
should keep going.
All right, let's
why don't I
move
do
on.
one? We'll go
You
back
go,
and
you
forth.
go,
All
you
right,
go.
Here's one. All right. Here's the headline. United Health Group resists shareholder proposal on delayed and denied care.
You know, before you even get going, Matt, how about this? How about United Health Group? I know you're all listening. How about this is the year where you just say yes to all the shareholder proposals just because, I don't know, it's call it an olive branch.
Wow, that's bold. So
Well, Matt, they're not binding. You don't actually have to do the reports. You could just say yes and then drag your feet. I mean,
look,
you know.
They already have problems. You want them to fire their lawyers now? Because what are their lawyers going to do if not oppose every shareholder proposal?
Well,
That's what
I
they
don't
do.
know. I don't even know. I don't even know who their lawyers are because I'm sure their names have been scrubbed from their website. But go ahead.
All right. So this is a proposal that was put forth by ICCR, the Interfaith Center on Corporate Responsibility, who is like done these proposals for 500 years?
Yeah, I think
600 years?
in fact, I think they were a big client with the corporate library back in the day, if I'm not mistaken.
way back in the day. They've done this for a long time.
They sound like they're part of the modern day racist anti-woke crowd. I don't think they are.
No, they are not at all.
Okay.
In fact, their name sounds both woke and anti-woke, but it is every nun in the entire world is part of this group, right? Like
Good.
the membership group for nuns.
Interfaith sounds woke.
Yeah, well, that's because like the nuns are from all the types of Christianity, right? Like it's all of them.
Right,
So
and they
they're-
probably would let a nice Hindu gentleman into the room.
I doubt they would mind.
Right.
Because, but they proposed
Yeah.
a report that United Health Group would put out on the public health and macroeconomic risks of delaying care, because people have to go to the insurer to get approval to get the care that they need. And so this proposal is if what are the health implications and the macroeconomic risk, the
I'd like to know
economic
this.
risks
I wanna know
of
this.
saying you have to ask us first, like that delay and
I would like this report.
So the company is pushing to exclude it on the grounds that it's too vague.
Oh,
Okay, that's what they're saying. So
Yeah.
who do you blame here?
like unlike every other element in society, which is just absolutely certain, this one's too vague.
Well,
Everything
here's-
else is super clear in our world.
Here's some simple options, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do you blame ICCR, the Interfaith Center on
Oh.
Corporate Responsibility? Because
For opening their
they're
mouths?
not only do they sound both woke and anti-woke, so that's confusing,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody knows. Their board at ICCR is almost all people of color and women, so
Okay, well, then
already
they're woke. Yeah.
like they feel really super woke, but they've been doing this for 100 years. But they are asking a vague question. Should they have asked for something more specific?
Okay.
Can you blame them?
Sounds kind of unvague to me. But yeah, go ahead.
It's an option. I'm just saying it's an option.
Yeah.
Here's your option number 2. Do you blame United Health Group,
Ooh, I like this.
who can't seem to understand the proposal as written? I'm going to summarize their explanations for the vagaries. And these are not quotes, but when you read them, they might as well be quotes. It's very close to what they're saying.
This is the board's rationale for asking shareholders to say no to this proposal?
This is the board's rationale. Now, I'm going to say, before I say this, the directors that couldn't understand, that said this was too vague, 9 of 10 of them,
Too vague, yeah.
9 of the 10 directors on the board, our data suggests, has advanced core industry knowledge. 3 directors got advanced degrees. And Stephen Helmsley, who's on the board, he used to be the CEO. He's been on the board for 25 years. These are the words they couldn't figure out. Okay?
Yeah. Also, the board could have just picked up the phone and called the ICCR, be like, "What do you mean in this paragraph when you said Dave?"
No,
right?
it's basically that. What they said was, "What's public health risk? Is it a risk to the individual person? Maybe it's a risk to their family or their friends. It could actually, and this is not a joke, they said, do you mean the employer? A risk to your boss."
Right. Well, one of their bosses was just killed.
Well, not United Health Group's boss, the
Oh.
boss of the person who got delayed care.
Because maybe you bring in your drippy, disgusting, sick self to your workplace.
Right, because you're waiting to hear if you can fix yourself, and then your boss has to deal with you. Like that, that's vague.
Your boss is probably in their own office.
So what do you even mean, ICCR? What is public health risk? Who knows?
This is like middle school debate club. I love this.
They also said, we don't understand what macroeconomic means. They don't understand. That's too vague. Do they mean, this is not a joke, do you mean regional risks, national risks, or international risks?
Yeah.
Because ICCR would be asking United Health Group the terrorist risks posed by delaying care of Jane from Kentucky, right? Like,
I understand.
They also wanted to know what ICCR means by patient outcomes. Like, what do you mean by a patient outcome? Do you mean the outcome of the individual? Do you mean if they get readmitted after they got care? And should we compare that to if they had no insurance? Maybe you should compare it to dead people. It's all too vague. How do we know?
What's wonderful here is that the board at United Health Group has the opportunity to create a report to help clear up all these vagaries. They could create a glossary. They could actually contribute to defining all these difficult questions that they sit around trying to answer.
So they are trying to push back. So United Health Group is an option because they just can't understand. They don't understand words.
That's code for the report would anger a lot of people. So because when you say it's too vague, that's very childish of them, don't you think? That's their way of saying, no, we don't want you to know this.
I mean, I'm surprised they just didn't say ordinary business, right? They didn't say ordinary business. They actually went for too vague. So they chose this argument. Like, normally when you want to push away a shareholder proposal, you just say, well, we measure stuff in the course of ordinary business. We make decisions, right?
what's truly surprising is that why didn't they play like Exxon and just sue the hell out of
there you
Interfaith
go.
Center
Yeah,
on
yeah.
corporate responsibility? Why don't we sue them into submission? Yeah.
You know what's a good look? Suing nuns.
Get
That's
'em.
a good look.
Let's
yeah.
get them. Well, someone's suing Greenpeace out of business, so why not them?
And then finally,
Yeah.
well, Greenpeace, speaking of that,
Yeah,
good for Greenpeace.
Yeah,
Congrats for Greenpeace.
for not giving up immediately.
I love that Greenpeace is basically willing to die on the vine in order to have the right to protest, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
So the story, if you don't know the story, that Greenpeace is being sued by the company that operates the Dakota Pipeline for organizing protests against the Dakota Pipeline, and they want to sue Greenpeace.
This is the world we live in now. Yeah.
for that. And then your third and final potential who to blame.
You're just
here.
showing off that you only have 3 choices, and I had 17. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
well, I mean, I can't remember half the choices. Is Luigi Mangione?
Oh, I heard of him. Yeah. I know him.
Yeah. So if you don't know who Luigi is, his horrifying murder of Brian Thompson, it probably woke everyone up and got enough attention on the issue to get a
Interesting.
shareholder proposal filed at all. Isn't that?
Yeah.
They're reporting on a shareholder proposal that's being
Interesting.
resisted by United Health Group. How often do we ever see that? Ever? Does it ever happen?
Did
And
you
it's
happen to
only
check?
because of this?
Did you happen to check if last year's proxy statement had any shareholder proposals? To your point,
I did not.
All right,
I'm
I
sure
bet you
that
they
it did.
didn't. Well, I don't
sure
know.
it
You
did.
might be right. But you
Probably
might be right.
had
The
one
Luigi
about
effect
racial
might be.
audit,
Right, sure, yeah.
anti-DEI, right? That's probably what it had.
Yeah, we saw a black person in the halls at headquarters, and we so we need an
Are you guys aware?
anti-DEI. Yeah,
we
yeah.
need a report on how
need
many
a
of the,
report,
that,
yeah.
how many times that could happen.
Yeah.
All right, so it's ICCR, United Health Group, or
Well-
Luigi Mangione.
Boy, I mean, first of all, can you at least credit this? This question actually comes from a listener, right? Who wanted us to dive a little deeper. Could you credit the listener here?
Yeah, the listener reached out to us.
You don't
I
have
won't
to
credit
name them
by
because they're not
name,
going
but
to. No one's
this
going to
was
want to know that they're.
They
no one's
wanted
gonna
to
wanna broadcast
know-
they're our listener.
our thoughts on this, but they also
Yeah.
wanted to know whether ICCR was real. Was that like a real place? Because it sounds kind of make believe. And
Yeah.
honestly, when you look at the list, it's like 100 nunneries, right? It's like convents. So it does sound like a make believe thing, but it is very real. They've been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a legitimate process they're going through. And in fact, this is totally standard that every company pushes back on every shareholder proposal. That's part of the process. They all say, a very few will negotiate a settlement. Some will, and then it never goes to vote. Some will allow, incredibly rare. They approve it, and might even side with it. Say this is a good proposal. But 99% of proposals,
Stop. That rarely happens.
they just fight them on any grounds, just
course.
exclude it on any ground. So that's normal. Everything here is normal, except that we're reporting on it. That's the thing that feels not normal.
Yeah, we're the only ones in the world who are taking very serious matters seriously. Yeah, we might be the only
That's
ones.
so weird. Yeah.
The tongue-in-cheek choice, the clever choice would be to blame ICCR, right? Because
that's
they came
correct.
up.
That's
with
why
I'm
it's
gonna
there.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
pass on that because I actually like them. The other clever choice, but actually, also, the company itself is blaming Luigi for this. They absolutely are blaming Luigi for this new attention on the company itself. So I bet some people would answer Luigi for this question, but for me, just because of the middle school debate club, too vague kind of which is just ridiculous, I'm going to blame the board members of United Health Group.
Oh, that's so obvious and correct.
You know me, I'm always attacking board members. All right,
I
I'm
mean,
going to go.
it's so obviously correct. It's fine.
Let's go to let's keep playing the Who Do You Blame game for February 25th, 2025. My next one. Here's a good one. Unilever. This is a publicly traded company, one that we cover. Unilever CEO Hein Schumacher steps down. CFO Fernando Fernandez, that's a great name, to take over. Reports claim that Unilever's board is unified in decision to oust CEO Schumacher. So who do you blame, Matt? Who do you blame?
Unified.
Do you blame?
Wow.
Do you blame the former CEO himself, who is being fired, Heinz Schumacher, and his board low 336 average? He's hitting 336 overall, according to freeflowanalytics.com. In fact, the next lowest is hitting 456. The average is about 500. He is an outlier for sucking.
Wow.
According to Free Flow Analytics. So do you blame him, or do you blame him for his board low 305 TSR average? I should add that he's also hitting.
Wait, am I blaming him twice? Like two separate times?
I'm just trying to promote the product here. He's hitting 305 in TSR, which is well below the board average.
Average is 500.
Yeah.
That's average.
So again, he's hitting 305 in total shareholder return. So that's the first choice. Do you blame the former CEO himself, Heinz Schumacher? Do you blame the fact that there were 3 Unilever directors with more influence than the former CEO Heinz Schumacher? Right?
Wow.
Yes. And we have talked about this a lot. That in situations like this, the CEO is a vulnerable target to be removed, which is exactly what happened here. And I'm going to tell you who those 3 directors are who have more power, according to the data at freeflowanalytics.com, the only data that of this kind that exists in the world. The first one is Ian Keith Makins. He is the chair of the board, Unilever chair, right?
He sounds make-believe, yeah.
He has more influence. Andrea Young.
Oh, yeah. Or Jung, I think.
Jung, okay. She has more influence than the former CEO. And one of the reasons why she might be mad is that she feels very powerless on the Wayfair board, where she also serves, because she's serving under 2 co-founders and 2 co-chairs, one of whom is the CEO. Matt, she also feels powerless because she serves on the Apple board behind all of the titans, CEO Tim Cook, board all-stars Alex Gorski, and chair Art Levinson. So maybe she just wants to exercise some of her power. Maybe she's just sick of feeling powerless.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
And finally, this board also includes another man with more power than the former CEO. This guy I call the chronic agitator, Nelson Peltz.
Oh, no.
Well,
did he have anything to say about Unilever casting their drugs with too many black people?
Of course, part of he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So do you blame the CEO himself for bad performance stats according to our data? Do you blame the board, 3 board members who had more power than him, or back to an old favorite, Matt? Do you blame Elon Musk? Okay.
No.
Wait for it. I have evidence to support this. Do you blame Elon Musk based on this headline? Unilever promotes its maverick CFO to top spot in surprise move. That maverick CFO is actually an economist from Argentina. And as we know, Argentina is another one of these countries that's gone to the right. The Trump and Musk and the Argentine president are good friends. They said what they like about him is his decisive and results-oriented approach and his ability to drive change at speed, right? So,
I see what you're saying.
You see where I'm going here? So maybe
Yeah.
they're promoting him because this Elon Musk Doge effect isn't up. I'm not picking Elon Musk here as a joke, Matt.
Look,
this is real.
here's my problem. Here's my problem with the last one.
You don't have to pick him.
CFO and Maverick do not go in the same sentence.
I know,
Nobody ever said
This is not my reporting. This is from Market Watch. Yeah,
that seems make believe to me.
Yeah.
Which leaves me with the CEO himself and the board. And the 100% correct answer is the board right here, right?
Interesting.
And the reason why is this is how the shareholder process is supposed to work. You own a company, you own their stock, you pick a board. That board oversees the executives. They oversee management, particularly the CEO, but all the named executive officers. They are the ones who decide on your behalf as the owner of the company whether that executive, the CEO, is performing. And if they have less influence and power than the CEO does on their own board, like in most companies in the US, that process breaks down really fast. It's really hard when the chair of the board who's leading the meeting is the one you're supposed to hold accountable, when they help choose you in the first place. This is how it's supposed to work. the board members should have more power than the CEO and be able to fire them. So
Absolutely.
I am saying it's the board's fault in a good way.
It's a healthy blame.
And that there's no such thing as a maverick CFO. That's what I'm saying.
Moving on. What do you got?
All right. I got another
blame?
one. Mine gets shorter here.
Good.
All right. Here's the headline. JP Morgan official defends bank's DEI programs, saying hiring is merit-based.
I got Matt. I got to tell you, the reporting out of JP Morgan about whether they're pro or anti-DEI is getting more confusing by the day.
Exactly. So option number one for this headline, Jamie Dimon. Are you to blame here? He said he's a full-throated, red-blooded capitalist. He told the anti-DEI crowd to bring it on. Bring it on.
Yeah.
He led that challenge, and that what made basically Robbie Starbuck and Fox News basically all say, like, Jamie Dimon says, bring it on. And then they brought it on, so much so that Dimon backtracked and said, I was never a firm believer in bias training anyway. That's basically what he did.
Yeah.
So this is between, Trump's DEI orders that make no sense and are, legally dubious to begin with, and him having an entire rant in which he swore at his own employees for wanting to like work from home on Fridays. Yeah,
he's a confusing dude. I want to, for those of you who have been listening to us for a long time, I apologize that you've been listening to us for so long. But you might remember the story that Jamie Dimon himself took a knee, Matt. He took a knee in support of George Floyd after he was murdered. He did this as the Black Lives Matter movement was really resonating across America. He took a knee in one of his bank branches, and this is where we are. Only 4 or 5 years later.
He's also never a firm believer in knees.
Okay, but he did take a knee. And I will say this also. You mentioned the return to work policies at JP Morgan. He's already saying that he's already backtracking a little bit. This guy is just a classic politician. He's already backtracking a little bit, Matt, saying that he doesn't hate return to work. I mean, he doesn't hate working from home. He hates the workers who work from home who suck. But But wouldn't we just hate all workers who suck no matter where they are? He's
look at that. That sounds like a plan. We just hate.
He just likes to talk. This guy just likes to talk.
We hate workers that suck.
He's just a weirdo. Yeah.
Which brings me, it's a nice segue into my second blame.
Yeah.
Merit. Because, look.
What is merit? I don't even know what that is.
So the data we have on merit here at Free Float shows that 47% of black directors had more core knowledge of the industries where they're on the boards. They had better degrees. They have larger board networks and equal performance compared to just 45% of white male directors. So basically, effectively, what we're seeing is if you're using the numbers, black directors have slightly more merit than white directors, but it's pretty much all the same. So the idea hiring is merit based, maybe because we're not actually defining merit. If we did, it would be much easier to defend the bank's DEI programs. They could just say, you get that like people of color and women have more merit on average, right?
Yeah,
so
which is confusing,
it's
right?
merit-based hiring. Just think of it as interchangeable at this
But here's
point.
the confusing part, though, is that what we've seen with the movements in ESG and the movements in DEI to have more women and people of color on boards, what we're seeing is that those numbers have gone up along those movements, right? So without those movements, without the DEI programs, we would have these qualified people not having these jobs, right?
That's correct.
This is the confusing part of the whole thing, right?
So without DEI, you add less merit to the board on average, is what we saw in the past. So merit, really, the problem here, it could just be merit. We can blame merit, the idea of merit. And the third thing you can blame is your favorite, Melody Hobson.
Why? Why Melody?
Melody Hobson is on the board of JP Morgan.
Yeah, she left Starbucks.
She's a black woman.
Yeah.
And she is on the board with another black woman named Alicia Davis. They are the only two people of color on the JP Morgan board. And they have a total of, are you ready for this?
No.
0.6% influence.
Oh God, it's terrible. Wait, does Jamie Dimon control influence on this board?
He does control influence on the board,
Okay.
but he's not the founder. He doesn't have like Elon Musk size influence on
He
the
doesn't
board.
have over 50%.
Yeah, not over 50%.
Oh,
but
okay.
So
what's with
basically,
this shockingly low number?
Melody Hobson, I know you listen to the show. What you need to do is start bullying Jamie Dimon. Tell him to shut up.
Yeah.
Because you were on the board of Starbucks in their pre-Brian Nickel, like, wokiest,
Yeah.
where they did things like say Happy Holidays and they used red cups instead of cups with Jesus on them.
I
Like, that was
appreciate,
your
Melody.
tenure.
Yeah.
Then Brian Nickel comes in. They make him chair of the board. They basically kick you out very slowly, or you kicked yourself out because you saw where it was going. And that was after having a very quiet, East Asian man replace the over-the-top, ridiculous founder.
Yeah.
I
He didn't
think,
last long.
Melody, I think you need to call up Jamie and tell him to shut the fuck up.
So you're blaming her.
Yeah, you need to say, I need to be the head of the nominating committee.
Yeah, I like that.
I need to be involved in the succession planning here because you're very steadily losing your mind. Right? Stop.
It's an interesting thought because based on her track record at Starbucks and other public boards, I'm forgetting which ones. She served on other public boards, I believe. But based on her leadership at Starbucks alone, you would think she would have leadership roles at JP Morgan.
I mean, the data, like her overall, the data set here, she bats average for TSR. She bats 686 on earnings.
Yeah.
She's like not a weak performer. Go in there and be like, look, wherever I go, we earn money. So just listen to me.
Right.
So those are your options.
Well,
Jamie Dimon, Merritt, or Melody Hobson.
This one's easy for me because the headline itself is confusing. JP Morgan official defends bank's DEI program, says hiring is merit-based. And we're bringing it on. We're getting rid of DEI. We're mocking bias training. We're mocking the costs for some of this. Because of all the confusion, the absolute person to blame here is the chief kneeler himself, Jamie Dimon, right? Because I just don't hear him. I don't feel him. I don't know what he's talking about. And this is the guy, Matt, who said he would have basically been president, but he was worried about not spending as much time with his family. So he actually, he believes in his heart that he would have been elected president if he had run. So he's a true marvel, this guy.
Yeah. If not for his family, he would be
not for his family,
Yeah.
because evidently America would have supported him, right?
That's actually probably true, though.
Okay, well, as much as I like to make fun of Jamie Dimon, I would take him in a heartbeat as president.
Yeah, over what we've got.
In an absolute heartbeat.
At least he's a semi-adult. All right. What do you
All right,
got?
up next for me, I like the blame game. I'm learning a lot, actually. Here's a headline. We don't cover this company very often. In fact, I don't think they're in our database. I don't know why. I think because they recently went through a merger last year, and maybe they're not part of the MSCI universe yet. Maybe they'll enter our database soon. But here's the headline: CEO Devin Nunes made.
I already dislike it.
Actually, I'm glad you said that because that's one of my answers on the blame game. CEO Devin Nunes made $47 million, while Truth Social parent company reported $401 million in losses in 2024.
Wow. How do you lose money when the guy who owns you is the president and just can print money?
I mean, the crazy thing too is that's not a small number. I mean, we cover outrageous CEO pay a lot, and even for a top S&P 500 company, that is an outrageously high number. Yeah,
that's a lot. Did they report a CEO pay ratio?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I did not look that up. If you want to look that up while I'm talking, go for it.
Yeah, I'll go find it.
I wonder if they even reported on that because it seems like a very woke data point. Here we go. Who do you blame? Do you blame CEO Devin Nunes himself because, as Matt rightly pointed out, because nobody likes Devin Nunes.
Yeah,
nobody ever. Okay, that's the first choice. Do you blame any board with Nepo babies? Especially King Nepo baby Donald Trump Jr., who attended only 2 of 5 board meetings.
If he fails attendance, will ISS vote against him?
Well, here's the problem. The next choice here is, Matt, Do you blame just controlled companies in general, especially controlled companies controlled by Nepo babies, especially King Nepo baby Donald Trump Jr., who controls 52% of the vote? And of course, we know this is not his fortune and money. This is his dad's money. So
yeah, daddy's money.
yeah. So you could blame the CEO Devin Nunes. You could blame any board with Nepo babies. You could blame any controlled companies. How about the compensation committee? You ready for this compensation committee, Matt?
They have one? That actually is the news here.
First of all, to put this number into perspective, this company lost $400 million last year, and the 3 named executive officers made $80 million. So
it seems reasonable.
Yeah. So here's the compensation committee. First, there's committee chair Robert Lighthizer. He is a lawyer who worked. He was part of the Trump 1.0 administration. He is chair of the Center for American Trade and the American First Policy Institute, where Nepo wife Linda McMahon currently serves as chair, right? And you know Linda McMahon,
wow,
she was part of Trump 1.0 and Trump 2.0. And also another Trump media director, David Bernhardt, also serves as chair, Center for American Freedom. They're all part of this America First Policy Institute, okay? So that's committee chair Robert Lighthizer. And then the second committee member is Nepo wife Linda McMahon, who is on that, right? My head's already spinning. She is at that America First Policy Institute. She, of course, comes from the world of wrestling. She served both of Trump's administrations. And then the third guy in this committee is a criminal prosecutor from the South. I'm already feeling scared. A guy named Kyle Green, and his expertise in compensation is I don't know. I don't even know how to finish a sentence. I don't know what his expertise.
It's just an ellipses.
So my head's already spinning from all the network connections and Nepo babies and Nepo wives. But that's the compensation committee. Do you blame them? Or how about this? Do you blame Trump media's very masculine proxy statement, Matt? There is only one woman anywhere in the proxy statement, and that is Linda McMahon. There's no mention of diversity, no mention of women or gender.
Oh, well, that is in keeping. That's
in fact,
not surprising.
the only I did a keyword search for the word gender. The only time it comes up is this part of the equity incentive plan, which says masculine pronouns and other words of masculine gender shall refer to both men and women. I like that little. I like that little. That little.
Is that like
moment.
What they do in like Italy? Like, isn't that it's like very European?
I searched
like,
this.
Woke.
I searched this clause in the SEC database. It does happen, but it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare that you're basically erasing women. But anyway, the last person to blame.
Correction, you're erasing one woman. That's the only
true.
one in there, right?
One woman. Yeah. Finally, the last person to blame for this outrageous pay for Trump media's CEO Devin Nunes is, what about Elon Musk himself, right? For
everyone.
Wait with me. For being a role model to Devin Nunes on how to get rich without really accomplishing anything, based on this headline that just came out in the last few days. Author of upcoming Elon Musk biography says there is no evidence billionaire has any intellectual achievements. So there you go.
Well, all right. So there's one notable missing thing from
Go ahead.
your list,
I like this.
Which is Trump himself owns 52% of the voting power, right?
Well, yeah, so, that's what's weird. Is it's
a controlled company.
Yeah, the name on the ledger is Donald Trump Jr., but we all know that's a bit of nonsense.
So the reason why you don't have the CEO pay ratio is because there's a controlled company exception where they don't have to report it.
That I wasn't aware of. Yeah,
they don't have to report it at all. So here's the thing. What strikes me about this is, if this is the way Donald Trump runs the company, they're not held to any standard at this company because he owns 52% of the voting power. So he can choose whoever he wants. He chose one woman and all of them are compromised. Like every single person on this board is compromised.
He chose Vince McMahon's wife. Yeah.
But he's known her for 40 years, right?
Someone,
like he knew
someone he can control.
in the 80s, right? Like, so these are all known people. They're all people who work for him, whatever. There's no independence. He treats the government the exact same way. If America knew anything about corporate governance, would we be in this situation? Wouldn't they have looked at this and said, "Well, that's not good,"
Absolutely
right? Like
not.
that's
Despite what they thought, if they had negative feelings about Kamala Harris, they would have still voted for her just to avoid all the nonsense.
So I'm going to have to go with controlled companies in general as the one to blame here, because the compensation committee can make no decision, right? Like, and it doesn't matter how masculine the proxy statement is. Big Daddy Trump is one of many controlled companies who just pay themselves whatever they want, pick whoever they want. So I'm going with that.
I'm with you. I think we keep scratching our heads for how to deal with a lot of this, and this is one of my pet peeves. Why do we allow controlled companies to exist?
Why do they exist? They should not exist. That's correct.
They should not exist. Absolutely. What else you got?
Here's one for you. I've got two left, and this one's short.
I only have
both of them
two
are
left
short.
too. Yeah.
All right. Here's the headline. Former Doge co-chair Vivek Ramaswamy is joining Ohio's governor race.
No.
So who do we blame for the fact that Vivek is in the race for governor? Do we blame Business Pants?
Oh, no.
For launching Ramaswamy's career
did.
our own show.
Yeah.
Before, 2 weeks before he announced that he was running for president, he did our show.
Yeah.
He did our show.
Of all things.
Of all things.
Yeah.
He then flamed out in the presidential race because no one liked him. Like, everyone thought he was gross and an idiot, or rude. Not an idiot, but like a fast-talking, rude asshole.
Yeah.
But on this show, he did admit to critical race theory being a thing. He said it was a necessary thing. He said that on our show. So you can go
I'm
back.
sure it was a
in our
mistake,
archives.
but he did admit that, yeah.
But do we blame Business Pants, us,
Yeah.
for launching Ramaswamy into the stratosphere?
Who else?
And now he's running for governor. Do we blame Ohio Attorney General Yost?
Why?
Who's also in the race? But the reason Ramaswamy feels like he has a chance is because Yost does stupid things like suing the Boeing board for safety issues.
Oh, right.
After voting for every board member every year, there were safety issues. That's something that guy did.
That's weird to blame him, though, for that. For Vivek.
Well, if you're Ramaswamy and Yost had already announced and that's your competition, you're thinking that guy can't even do it, right?
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Or do you blame Elon Musk?
Yes.
Because Elon Musk, apparently there was tension between Vivek and Musk and Trump.
Of course. They're both all assholes.
At the first day Doge was formed.
Of course.
Vivek basically stepped down because, co-leaders, it was like it was their first act of efficiency, really. Like, they cut co-leaders. They had co-leaders, right? Mm-hmm. So they improved the efficiency of that organization. That was like 100% efficiency improvement in one day. That's pretty spectacular. Do you blame Musk, who fired Vivek from Doge effectively?
I'm going to make this quick and easy. The answer is yes. I do blame Elon Musk because I think without being part of Doge, I think his just being a part of Doge, even before the Doge did anything, is going to make all of those idiotic Ohio voters vote for Vivek. He's been anointed by Musk and Trump. That's all he's going to need to win that race. He will absolutely win that race. Absolutely.
I am sorry. The correct answer was Business Pants.
No, wrong. All right, let's move on. We only have a couple left, thank God, because I think we're in hour number 4. We both, based on the folksy annual letter from the great gambler Warren Buffett, we both picked a Berkshire Hathaway headline, although we kind of went in different directions. I'll start with mine. The headline is Berkshire Hathaway removes diversity and inclusion from annual report, okay? Removes diversity and inclusion from annual report.
I would pretend I was shocked, but he hated it before it was a thing, right? Like he actually, we made fun of him like 3 years ago because he wasn't into it in the first place. So
who do we blame?
At least he's consistent.
Do we blame Warren Buffett himself, America's cuddly genius gambler? After all, he does control 67% of the board influence, and he also sired 2 of the board members, Howard and Susan. So do we blame him?
He did do that, yeah. He did do that.
Do we blame Warren Buffett's genetics, right?
Ooh.
Listen to this. Here's another headline. Warren Buffett never considers where executives graduated from and says a large portion of business talent is innate. So
Did
Matt,
say that. I read that.
this means that nepo babyism is fine. And since nepotism is really the enemy of DEI, then Howard and Susan are fine, really, right? Because isn't what he's saying is that if it's innate, he's basically saying it's blood, right? It's
genetic, yeah. It's genetic, yeah.
It also means, Matt, that non-networked people who aren't already in the boys' club, and I'm looking at you, women and people of color, you shouldn't even try anymore. Because going to a great university, according to America's genius Warren Buffett, it doesn't mean anything anymore, right? So
that's true.
So if Warren is not around to smell your winter non-muggle blood, then just stay home, right? I mean, right? What's the point? What's the point? Harvard, Princeton, it's all
Don't
bullshit.
even apply. Don't even apply.
You can't even create merit for yourself anymore, Matt, because Warren Buffett can smell your innate talent, right? That's the takeaway here. So do you blame Warren Buffett's genetics? How about this? Do you blame, according to our previous rule with Trump Media, do you blame any board with Nepo babies? Because Berkshire Hathaway has 2 Nepo babies, Howard and Susan. Or finally, do you blame, once again, Elon Musk, right? Ready for this?
Oh, I hate all of these.
Here's a headline. Elon Musk blames diversity, equity, and inclusion for LA wildfires. That's the headline.
Well, we knew that.
That's from Forbes. And Matt, in 2024, Berkshire Hathaway was the largest insurance company in the U.S. with almost $811 billion in assets. Matt, if women and black people are causing wildfires, why would Berkshire Hathaway want DEI to be part of their, right? Why wouldn't they scrub it?
Interesting take.
Thank you.
I am going
Worked
to.
hard on this.
I do want to read something that was in the letter,
Go ahead.
the annual letter, where Warren Buffett, cuddly genius gambler Warren Buffett, said, "quote So thank you, Uncle Sam." This is, like he likes to, thank America.
So
he
cute,
does it in
yeah.
every letter.
There is
not
no
unique to
actual
this one.
Uncle Sam, but I guess that's America. Is that what that is? Or is that the tax collector? Who is Uncle Sam?
Uncle Sam is, I
is
think
he?
it's Elon Musk, your kind of skeevy
Okay.
uncle now. So thank you, Uncle Sam. Someday your nieces and nephews at Berkshire hope to send you even larger payments than we did in 2024. He's talking about
That's cute. I get it.
this year they're paying the largest in taxes they ever have because they
Good.
were so successful. Okay.
Yeah.
Spend
Except there
it
won't be
wisely.
anyone working in the IRS to probably cash that check.
No,
but
they won't
whatever.
cash the check,
Yeah.
but that's fine. Spend it wisely. Here's where it gets good. Take care of the many who, for no fault of their own, get the short straws in life. They deserve better.
Oh, it's kind of a Jesus-y statement, right? Jesus?
Said that in the same 10K where they removed diversity and inclusion
Yeah, that's
from
weird.
the 10K.
Is he talking about the muggles there? He's talking about the poor, the muggles.
I thought the people who got the short straws in life and deserved better were the people who were had systemically been disadvantaged from getting positions,
That makes
had
sense.
to go to Harvard and prove themselves.
Yeah.
And now he's saying he wouldn't consider if you went to Harvard, also no diversity and inclusion, but take the tax payment because through no fault of your own, you get the short straw in life. So there you go.
It's pretty
Very
dark.
confusing.
I mean, that headline's pretty dark. It never considers where executives graduated from. Yeah. So good luck proving merit to cuddly gambler Warren Buffett. So what? Yeah. What is your choice here? Who do you blame?
This one's easy. This one
Yeah.
is cuddly genius gambler Warren Buffett himself. So that one's easy. I mean, 67% of the company.
Yeah,
it's
come on.
fine.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
All right.
it's
All right.
enough,
Here's my
enough.
last one. You ready for my last one?
Yeah. I only got
Also-
one quick one that you're going to hate too. So go ahead.
Also, Warren Buffett.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, yes.
The headline here is
Yeah.
Warren Buffett's letter confirms it won't be long before Greg Abel replaces him as CEO.
I mean, Warren is how old now? He's like 147? How old is this guy?
I think he's approaching Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but who are we going to blame for it won't be long before Greg Abel replaces him? Do we blame
Interesting.
Howard and Susan Buffett?
Yeah, his two
Because
children on the board. Yeah.
his 2 children on the board, because the key thing I read in that was Greg Abel replaces him.
Yeah,
but
that's
if
true.
business is innate and Greg Abel is taking the seat at the head of the folksy table, that must mean they suck at business. They did not get the business gene, right?
Right. And Greg Abel didn't have to prove merit in the same way because he actually went to the University of Alberta, the province of Canada. I'm not saying anything against the University of Alberta, but I'm just saying, like, you know, you didn't exactly have to struggle and work hard to like fight his way in like a lot of people of color do into places like Princeton and Harvard.
I mean, so Howard actually, you know, published a book. Harvard published his thesis, right? So like, you know, it means that maybe the problem is his children were too educated. Didn't get the business gene. Maybe
they lost. Oh, so right. So the education kind of snuffed out their innate business acumen. I like that.
They learned out their ability, their natural ability.
Charlie Munger would love everything we're saying, by the way. I think he would love this show. Yeah.
Option 2. The nominating committee.
Okay.
Because the nominating committee ostensibly is supposed to pick Greg Abel, right?
Ostensibly.
That's Stephen Burke, Ken Chenault, Charlotte Guyman, and Thomas Murphy Jr. They have an aggregate of 11% influence, and they're supposed to pick Greg Abel because that's their job, succession planning, right? Isn't that them? So maybe them.
Yeah.
And then finally, the Grim Reaper. I mean, obviously it won't be long because the Grim Reaper can't be far away.
Okay.
So who do we blame here?
I'm glad you mentioned this because do you think he's referring to the fact that he will finally actually step down and actually watch Greg Abel? So he's going to wait till he dies? He's never
I think he's talking about, I feel like I'm going to die soon.
So he's not even going to give Greg Abel the opportunity to like learn from him, like take over and then maybe like ask some questions while he's still alive?
No, Abel's been there forever. He's already done the learning. I think he's just saying death comes for us all.
Death's coming. I see.
Yeah. So who is it? Howard and Susan Buffett for not getting the innate gene.
Yeah.
The nominating committee for the succession plan or the Grim Reaper.
Okay, the nominating committee, that's a big fat joke, so I'm going to skip that one because clearly, is this a controlled company?
It's not supposed to be.
This is a controlled company. So obviously, it's all about Warren. Now, I've never been able to vote for the Grim Reaper for anything in my life, so I kind of like this opportunity, but I really do have to go with. I have to blame his children for right for they didn't pick up. They didn't get it. They didn't get
good enough.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Which makes the whole thing so confusing to me. Like it's innate, but it's not. I don't know what it is.
It's innate, but not for my kids. That's right.
Yeah. All right. Finally, let's end this horrifically long who do you blame game with one more entry.
Oh my God!
This is a quick one that Matt's gonna both love and hate. He's gonna love it for its brevity. He's gonna hate it for the choices. Here's the headline, and this is actually the headline that scares me the most for our future. But Doge will use AI to assess the responses of federal workers who were told to justify their jobs via email. I'm sure everyone knows by now that Elon Musk asked federal workers to justify their jobs with an email, and they're going to use AI, Matt, of all things, to assess responses. So who do you blame for this horrific predicament going on in the federal workforce? Is it Elon Musk? That's it. That's all the choices.
Oh, no. I don't want to choose that for anything.
I don't have anything else.
Can't I choose big balls or whatever?
You don't have to. You can fade us out before you answer the last question. It's fine.
I blamed everybody for that. That's all your fault. That was our show. That's Hazelnut Rawless. I'm your analyst, Matt Moscardi. We are Free Float. Come back. We won't have a show on Thursday, but we'll have a doubleheader on Friday out of the Proxy Countdown and
thinking about it.
Our regular Friday show in which we crank out all the news from the week and tear it apart. Until then, goodbye.